What's going on, guys? TK back with another video. With Scarlet and Violet releasing next month, I want to go over why I think IVs should be removed in Scarlet and Violet and why I believe it will be beneficial to do so. I know a lot of people might disagree, but I love a good debate. So if you do disagree, leave a comment below on why you believe they should stay. Anyway, without further ado, first let's go over what IVs actually are. IVs stand for individual values. These numbers are hidden stats that every Pokemon has. So the higher the individual value, the higher the stat. The lower the individual value, the lower the stat. All IVs range from 0, which is the lowest, to 31, which is the highest. These individual values are important for competitive Pokemon simply because they affect the overall stats of the Pokemon along with the other hidden value, which is known as effort values, EVs for short. I'm sure you all know about EVs. I love EVs. I think that's the main part of competitive Pokemon to me, but I'll elaborate into that further. Let's say, for example, you are using a Pikachu with 252 speed EVs with a timid nature, and it has 25 speed IVs, but your opponent is using a Pikachu with the same 252 speed EVs and the timid nature, but your opponent has 31 speed IVs. Your opponent's Pikachu will always outspeed yours in this case because the opponent's Pikachu has the maximum speed IVs, which is 31, while yours only has 25, so it's not at the max value. Whereas if you had 31 speed IVs in the speed stat, you would speed tie with your opponent and it will be a coin flip on who moves first. Since IVs are in the game, they determine speed order even in situations like Trick Room, where then you want 0 speed IVs in a Pokemon that you know will be used under the effects of Trick Room to make sure you underspeed opposing Pokemon. So let's say you're running a Trick Room team and you're running a Torkoal. I think Torkoal's base speed is like 20. I can't remember off the top of my head, but you need zero speed IVs just to make sure you outspeed other slow Pokemon as well. So that's why it's super important to have 0 speed IVs. But this also requires a more targeted grind when you're making the perfect Pokemon, because now you have to make sure that Pokemon, aka the Torkoal you're talking about, has 0 IVs in certain stacks to make sure they are optimal. IVs used to also determine the type of hidden power you had back in the day, but hidden power seems to not be in the games anymore. And even in Scarlet and Violet, they're like they're doing like the terrestrial thing now, which is basically modified hidden power if you really think about it. But yeah, even if they do come back, they could just make another way to determine the hidden powers typing, because to me, IVs are just a waste of time, to be honest. So I guess this is where my argument to just take them out comes in. If you just take individual values out of the game, the Pokemon are still customizable through the more important value, which in my opinion are effort values. If you take out IVs, Trick Room Pokemon will still be the slowest. Think about it. If you had a Torkoal that's base 20, he'll still be slower than a base 22 or base 25, but now you don't have to worry about the 0 speed EVs. So it's just an unnecessary grind to me in modern Pokemon. If like it's so niche that it doesn't affect like the competitive meta game compared to EVs, which are the actual like builds, the actual spreads. But yeah, basically you won't have to worry about the 0 speed IVs because that Pokemon will be slow anyway. So it just cuts down the unnecessary grind. You need 0 attack IVs to lower the power of foul play. Well, now you don't have to worry about that because IVs are not in the game anymore, right? So if you take out IVs, you still have things to grind for, which is why I think people will argue about them, because it's like people want to grind. I'm a grinder. I love grindy game, but I think that's an unnecessary grind, and you would still have a lot of things to grind for anyway when it comes to like breeding and etc. So yeah, if you take out the IVs, you still have things to grind for in the game. There's still things to work towards, but it's a ton faster to raise a perfect Pokemon because now you're only worrying about egg moves, natures, abilities, and effort values. IVs, in my opinion, are just an RNG grind for hidden numbers that are unnecessary in modern Pokemon. The way they affect competitive Pokemon is just so niche that if you just get rid of them, it wouldn't do any harm to competitive, and it will make players get into the scene faster by letting players build teams with less work. Why do you think people love Showdown so much? when it comes to like competitive Pokemon, because it's just plug and play. Now, I understand. Me personally, I love the aspect of team building, working on a team, creating those powerful Pokemon, you know, putting them in specific balls, creating a team that's mine. I love that part. I don't want to take away the grind, but I think there's enough things to grind for without IVs in the game that I think most people would not miss them. But I understand. I want things to grind for too. But I think just because there's other things like abilities, effort values, shinies, you know, there's still the shiny grind if you want to get them legitimately and everything. But in my opinion, as long as effort values remain in the game, team building will always be unique and allow players to express themselves with their own individual builds. I also believe that, I mean, this might be a hot take, but I also believe they should just make EVs the same as allocating skill points, like other genres. You ever played like an MMO like MapleStory or some other MMO, and every time you level up, you gain skill points? In my opinion, they should just do that for Pokemon. Like every time you level up, you gain like 2 skill points, and then you can allocate them. And then like, let's say you have the max 510 EVs, you could just like go to like an NPC. If you use them all, reset them and just allocate the skill points. And then you don't have to, like, instead of having to fight wild Pokemon or give them supplements. That might be a hot take, but I kind of like that personally. But I guess that's a topic for another video. This is an IV video, I suppose. But yeah, that's all I have to say about why I believe that IV should just be removed in Scarlet and Violet. If you disagree, like I said, feel free to leave a comment. I love a good debate. I love debates. It's my thing. But yeah, that's all for this video. So if you like the video, like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.